DESolator Trooper moving into his opponent's base, trying to take out some of these harvesters before they can get out. Several buggies for his opponent go down. There is the one clip. Not able to get the kills, but he's about to lose one MRT. No, it just barely makes it out, but he does lose Welcome to Kane's Wrath. I'm your host, Korak, and today's map is Tournament Rift. This is my mixed bag series, except the primary difference is going to be all these matches are mirrors. Starting us up in the top left-hand corner of the map, wearing the pink robe, sporting the steel talon gloves, we have Panic. His opponent for the moment in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, wearing the yellow robe, sporting the steel talon gloves, we have MasterLeaf. Both fighters ready? Begin! We are in patch R22F for this game and the next one. Our very last match will be on R20 Echo, actually pulled from a mirrors-only tournament or league, I forget one of which. The prize was $200 for it, but I pulled a good mirror match from that one, so we'll be taking a look at that one near the end of this match. Both MasterLeaf and Panic have started with their minor scouting, and actually only one GDI rifleman remains in there. I actually don't normally see that where one gets away for Panic. He literally survived with one guy with 1 HP. That's kind of funny to see. The development of the main base appears to be going nice for both players. They are expanding to their natural expansions just about the same time. And for those of you who don't know, the path for your natural expansion is going from here to over on the right-hand side. And same thing for your opponents. You follow that path there. There's only one Tiberium spike, I believe, per player. That means later game, this blue Tiberium is going to be all the more useful. It does look like Panic has already staked his claim in the center. He was able to get a pillbox there, so he can see if MasterLeaf decides to do some sneakiness and grab the blue Tiberium away from him. Or better yet, he can send his Harvester, which there it is right on cue, to grab it for himself. Those little bits of resources will definitely make a difference. I think the real part of this match is really going to be how they utilize their resources and what builds they go with, and insert this, that, and the other. Since it is a mirror match, whoever has the better build is going to win. I don't think I see a lot of MasterLeaf playing Steel Talons, although I guess his MRT combo has to be Steel Talons. MasterLeaf having some pitbulls chasing one of the blue Tiberium harvesters over here, and he's just about to get it, but at the cost of at least 1 or 2 pitbulls. Pitbulls are going to turn around and start killing Panics as well, so it's a pitbull or fistbull. The sharking has continued. It looks like MasterLeaf is actually a little bit ahead. Both those pitbulls managed to make it out. I'm actually really surprised. Not only did he get a harvester with blue Tiberium, but he was able to make it out with those harvesters. They may end up dying here in the long run anyways, but that still remains to be seen. No, he's still up on harvesters for the moment. Or not harvesters, on pitbulls for the moment. Pitbull v Pitbull is continuing, but the Pitbulls have regrouped with the MRTs. I don't think the MRTs have anything in them. Nope, they are blank for the moment, but they are going to be able to soak up some of the shots while the MRTs repair some of the Pitbulls for their opponent. MasterLeaf is definitely ahead on the Pitbull count, but that does not mean that cannot change rather quickly. He is starting to shark around, seeing the Pitbulls in the north, trying to catch them off guard, but deciding to go for the ones near the War Factory instead. Not able to get the kills, but he's about to lose 1 MRT. No, it just barely makes it out, but he does lose a Pitbull in return, and that MRT is probably going to get killed here in a minute. No, it's somehow that MRT is just staying alive. It even manages to get its mine drop off. I'm extremely surprised that MRT is still sticking around. It's Pitbull v Pitbull with a couple of MRTs mixed in over here, but it looks like the tables have turned, and MasterLeaf is actually has the lower amount of Pitbulls. His micro is still here, and he's still doing a really great job, but he is whittling and losing forces slowly over time. He lost another Pitbull there. There's an MRT there, and the squads, the rifleman squads, words are hard, do pop out of the MRTs just in time, which means they're going to soak up a couple of the rocket shots, giving the other Pitbulls some time to get out of there. MasterLeaf is only down to 4 pit bulls against the staggering number of pit bulls that Panic has over here. This will be one of the key moments of the game. I'm going to assume what Panic does with this advantage, because in Command & Conquer, it doesn't just matter if you kill your opponent's units. You have to do something with that victory. You need to destroy infrastructure or take something out. I'm not sure why he didn't decide to finish off that Tiberium spike. That was a good target, but maybe he's thinking he can come back for it at any moment. Either way, he's not doing much other than just posturing. MasterLeaf still has a couple of pit bulls in the south, but it's nothing to write home about. He is transitioning into Titans. That seems to be his answer for dealing with the mass pit bulls of his opponent. I'm not sure if Titans outrange pit bulls. If they do, that way I feel like that would make them a little bit better of a fight. MasterLeaf moving his pit bulls in, moving forward over here, and then unfortunately, I'm not sure if this is a misclick or if he's just trying to get them over there to scout, but they are sent to their doom. There goes 4 pit bulls immediately taken out, and I'm not sure if Panic lost any. It's hard to tell with the color palette of this map. Panic is starting to move into the original main base of his opponent. No, he's choosing to only use 5 pit bulls. It looks like Panic so far is being very, very cautious with his remaining pit bulls. He needs to get some sort of damage on some of this infrastructure, whatever he goes for. He does finally decide to go for a power plant and gets that, looks like for free. 1 pit bull did get hurt pretty bad. This Tiberium spike is still up. I'm not sure why he has not taken it out. He's had plenty of time. He's had pit bulls that have been just basically right next door. He might as well finish it off. But either way, pit bulls are moving into the main base of MasterLeaf, starting to kill some of his infrastructure. MasterLeaf does get the sale off of his war factory, but not the power plant. That is 650 that he was able to save in his bank, but that infrastructure is still gone for the moment. We do have an airfield out for MasterLeaf. MasterLeaf grabbing a couple of hammerheads. I'm not sure how well that'll play into all of these pit bulls. Speaking of pit bulls, another one does get stuck, does get grabbed by the Titans. The Titans doing a very good job of pressuring his opponent. It looks like MasterLeaf has been able to transition over from a defensive stance to an aggressive stance. These Titans look to have been the call to push out the pit bulls. The real answer will be to see how Panic responds to MasterLeaf. MasterLeaf actually able to get a crush on the Harvester with a Titan over here. I'm not sure if 1 Titan made its way all the way around, if there were a couple more than that. MasterLeaf unfortunately picked yellow, one of the, in my opinion, one of the hardest colors to see. Blue Tiberian Harvester is going to take a couple of shots from these Titans, and if it's not careful, is going to get taken out. But no, it looks like he might just make it back to the base in time, unless the Titans make their way over there. That wouldn't be a bad call, having 6 Titans here starting to take out there. And there is the transition for Panic. Panic has gone into Mammoth Tank. Mammoth Tanks are going to be his answer to MasterLeaf's Titans. MasterLeaf's Titans are starting to get taken down, starting to get whittled down. 1 goes down, 2 goes down, a 3rd one is left. 2 are moving forward to the left, while it looks like 1 might escape. No, the pit bulls are not going to let it escape whatsoever. Panic doing very, very good at continuing to whittle down the forces of MasterLeaf. MasterLeaf needs to move to a natural expansion, or needs to find some sort of maneuver that he can switch over to. It looks like he has moved his MCV over towards this natural expansion. He's going to fight for that the best he can, and these Mammoth Tanks are just absolutely chewing through the pit bulls, at least what pit bulls they can reach. We're probably going to have Mammoth Tank versus Mammoth Tank here in any moments. A couple of rifleman squads in the south looking for the scout on their opponent. The tech center does get scouted, and a couple of these power plants almost get taken out. I need to at least finish taking those guys out. I don't think those pit bulls are going to make it. There goes 1 power plant. There goes possibly 2 power plants. That's going to delay whatever MasterLeaf is doing, and it's going to lose him a little bit of infrastructure, and only for the cost of 1 pit bull. Pit bulls are going to poke around and try to grab this upgraded power plant. That is not something MasterLeaf wants. MasterLeaf needs those power plants. He's already in low power mode, and if he loses that, it's just going to be all the worse. And oh no, there's just 1 shot left on that poor little power plant. They just were not able to find the purchases that they needed. They were not able to find the kills that they needed. And it looks like MasterLeaf has actually been able to sneak in some mana tanks into the southern part of the natural expansion of, well, I guess it is MasterLeaf's natural expansion, but Panic has moved in there. Unfortunately, 2 mammoths come out and go in, and 0 mammoths come out. Panic is just absolutely on top of it with the micro, doing a very, very good job, and MasterLeaf has to be hurting really, really bad for cash. MasterLeaf moving more mana tanks in over here, looking to start taking out some of the infrastructure of his opponent, but rocket squads are going to be the answer to taking it out. It's actually only at half HP. You might as well finish off that refinery. There he goes. He does get the refinery, but at what cost? Is that worth losing 2 mammoth tanks? I'm not sure. Panic is definitely taking a much more defensive stance. He says that I have your Tiberium here. I have to make you come to me. And I say that, and he makes me a liar as soon as I say that. He's actually moving on MasterLeaf's base, starting to move all of his troops, but MasterLeaf is not completely undefended. He does have a couple of Wolverines, he does have a couple of Mammoth tanks, and depending on his positioning, which is not looking real great here, looks like a Mammoth tank is going to get caught in a really bad spot. Yep, there it goes. That poor Mammoth tank is just going to take the full brunt of all 3 of these Mammoth tanks, plus a couple of rocket squads, but maybe MasterLeaf is trying to bait in his opponent. He doesn't seem to have a crazy amount in the force department. One of the Mammoth tanks of Panic does get taken out, so that is good on MasterLeaf's end, but he loses yet another power plant. He just cannot keep power plants up to save his life. More Mammoth tanks for MasterLeaf are moving forward to start pushing out the forces of Panic. Panic's forces are beginning to look more and more anemic as this game goes on, and it looks like this during this time MasterLeaf was able to sneak an outpost over in that southern expansion and start putting some refineries down, giving him that lifeline for resources that he needed while continuing a sort of defensive assault in the south against his opponent. It looks like Panic is pretty much all but worn down. No, he still has 3 Mammoth tanks left over here, one of them going for a repair, but his forces are way more anemic than they were just a minute ago. The Harvester train is here in the south. Panic is going to scout it here in a little bit if he can go for that, if he has some fast-moving units, hurting that economy of MasterLeaf, especially because it looks like it's relatively undefended. The Mammoth tanks are still not there, but we only know that because there's no fog of war on our end. MasterLeaf not letting the north go uncontested, sending a small amount of riflemen and Wolverines and rocket squads to head their way over here. If they can get a couple of harvesters, that will definitely help tip the scales in their favor. And it looks like we actually have a sneaky combat engineer over here by Panic. He's going to try to skirt his way around and maybe try to grab something here in a minute. Hopefully that Mammoth tank doesn't see him and squish him. He actually does see him right there. I feel like a railgun shot to the gut is definitely a bit much. And it looks like MasterLeaf is actually set up inside the Tiberium field of his opponent, putting these words are hard, putting these pillboxes down inside of his opponent's natural expansion, but it's not enough to really delay him significantly at all. There's a lot of Mammoth tanks to mop up what moved into Panic's Tiberium field. MasterLeaf being very efficient in harvesting his Tiberium in the south. He's got to be coming back a little bit more on top, a little bit more online, but this is still a lot of mammoths for Panic, so for MasterLeaf to deal with. We have our T3 over there. It looks like Panic, for the most part, has set up over here by this natural expansion. MasterLeaf sending 3 harvesters, actually, to go grab all of that blue Tiberium. But oh no, unfortunately, as soon as he does that, the Mammoth tanks are here to push them out almost immediately. But it looks like we actually have mass orcas over here for MasterLeaf. I missed that. I missed those orcas building up and moving in, but it does not look like they're the only one. We've got orcas on both sides. Orcas for MasterLeaf, orcas for Panic, and MasterLeaf is still sending these harvesters, unfortunately, to their doom. Maybe these are all Panic's orcas. It's hard to tell. No, those are definitely MasterLeafs because they're getting shot at. The orcas for Panic are moving into MasterLeaf's natural expansion, starting to take out a whole bunch of those harvesters. That is definitely what he needs to do. He needs to kill MasterLeaf's lifeline, and while he's attacking, it will give him plenty of time to continue harvesting his own stuff. It looks like he is starting to grab some of the blue Tiberium for himself. That is a smart decision. Every time you can try and get that, it's definitely beneficial, unless you do what happened there with MasterLeaf, where he unfortunately lost 3 harvesters to that. That's got to sting a bit, but he was probably over harvesters on the fields anyways. We do actually have 3 fields over here by MasterLeaf, 3 airfields, a couple of pit bulls moving in the north, starting to look into MasterLeaf's base to see what they can snack on. Orcas still dancing around each other for the moment. Panic's still doing a very good job of taking that blue Tiberium in the center. He's grabbing it right now, and Panic is also still continuing his assault on MasterLeaf's economy, just hitting it over and over and over. And MasterLeaf just does not seem to be able to keep up right now. That's actually because he's decided to go on the offensive. He's taken out one of the war factories of Panic and has moved into Panic's base. If he can get another harvester too, that'll also be super great for him. For some reason, MasterLeaf's Tiberium Spike is still alive. I don't know why Panic hasn't taken that out. I feel like that can make a big difference later on, unless there's just some sort of unwritten rule that I'm unaware of, where it's you just try not to affect your opponent's Tiberium Spike. I'm not sure, but that's also easy to say from the commander or from the caster's chair. One refinery does get sold off only for 25 for MasterLeaf, but it still is some money in the bank. But these pit bulls are absolutely uncontested and just taking out more and more of the infrastructure of MasterLeaf. And speaking of losing infrastructure, MasterLeaf, if he's not careful, he's going to lose this construction yard over here next to his old main base. MasterLeaf seems to be content, though, setting up next to his cash cow, next to his Tiberium. Pit bulls are still not dealt with. It looks like MasterLeaf has finally started to move his orcas in, and the orcas are starting to take some damage, take some shots on these mammoth tanks, but 2 of them are still going to be left alive, which means MasterLeaf is probably going to lose that command post. That's a spicy 3,500, unfortunately, down the tube. MasterLeaf does have a couple of things here and there he can sell to try to get back up on his feet, but he's decided to go into orcas. Maybe that's the call to deal with these mammoth tanks. They do seem to be doing a decent job at taking out the mammoth tanks of Panic and vice versa. Speaking of orcas hunting for mammoth tanks, they're going to be able to get a couple of free shots on these mammoth tanks and probably take one out. Every mammoth tank taken out at this point is extremely, extremely valuable. They're only going to run out of resources further and further, and there goes 2 mammoth tanks for free and probably another 2 in the north. Almost. It looks like the orcas just barely ran out of shots over there. That is still 3 mammoth tanks down and a 4th one severely injured. MasterLeaf did spend the 3,500 to get his construction yard back out, so he now has build capabilities for the moment. Panic and MasterLeaf are both looking extremely anemic. Panic moving some hammerheads to start doing his harassment. However, a slingshot is here and ready for MasterLeaf. Felt something was in the air and decided that he wanted to get a slingshot to protect his mammoths against possibly orcas, or in this case, the hammerheads of his opponents. MasterLeaf actually having a decent number of mammoth tanks left. Mammoth tanks moving into the center of the map, possibly to try to grab some of that blue Tiberium. It's definitely going to be pretty important. Slingshot going to reinforce the mammoths for MasterLeaf in the center. And looks like Panic only has the hammerheads and this one mammoth tank from what I can see. He's got a couple of riflemen here and there, but nothing really to write at home at. Did he lose a ton of harvesters, or is he just harvesting really afar? And this does seem to be one of the final nails in the coffin. MasterLeaf pushing into his opponent's war factory, starting to take out his opponent's mammoth tanks, but unfortunately they're just not quite able to keep up with one of them. They are going to be able to take one of them out, and that is 1 mammoth tank for 1 mammoth tank as the other 2 mammoth tanks move forward, but there is no answer to this hammerhead. I say that, and there is the slingshot beginning to push them out, which means that this natural expansion is all but gone for Panic. I'm not sure he can come back from this. He does not have a lot of harvesters left, and he has almost next to nothing left in the tank for his economy. And now the shoe is about to be on the other foot. Panic is about to lose his MCV, his construction yard, to MasterLeaf's harvesters. Hammerhead moving into MasterLeaf's now new main base as MasterLeaf finishes off the last little bit of his opponent in the north. And there is the GG, ladies and gentlemen, of the first set of our mirror matches for today. MasterLeaf is the winner of this first match. I will see you in match number 2, Commander. Welcome back, Commander, to match number 2 on the map Hell Bastion. This skirmish is brought to you by Perpetual Popcorn Machine. It's popcorn that keeps popping. Over here on the bottom side of the map, wearing the blue robes and the Traveler 59 gloves, we have DESolator Trooper. His opponent for the moment in the top side of the map, wearing the cyan robe, sporting the Traveler 59 gloves, we have Fate Zero. Both fighters ready? Begin! We get another mirror match, but this one is significantly different. Very, very rarely do I get to see Traveler 59 versus Traveler 59. I don't even know what works against them, as in what scrin forces work against scrin forces. I mean, I guess Gunwalker's obviously gonna be good against infantry, but other than that, I'm not really sure. Like, where do Mechapeds fit in all this? Are they gonna be even any decent to use against their opponents? Buzzer squads and scouting are all over the place. It looks like instead of getting a bunch of buzzers out, DESolator Trooper has decided to grab a whole bunch of disintegrators. That's not a bad strategy. He can get a early kill on something if he can be close enough. That's one of the biggest things with the little guys with the what are they called? The disintegrators. They're very, very good at like close range damage. Like right here, they're actually going for this Tiberium spike right here, and it's already at half HP. Gunwalker is going to push them out. Fate's going to be able to push them out, but they've still dealt their damage. Defensive tower has been grabbed by DESolator Trooper. I'm not sure he can quite reach the harvesters of his opponent, but I guess they have to harvest the Tiberium in the south at some point. Phase Zero finally taking out those disintegrators over in the over on the left-hand side of the map, and now it's Disintegrator versus Gunwalker. This Gunwalker really needs to be doing a reverse move, but it does not happen in time. These disintegrators just do too much damage, and they actually both get a rank up before the buzzer hive of his opponent, before the buzzer hive of Fate Zero pops out. A whole one disintegrator is left. It's only going to be able to do marginal damage and just kind of be annoying, and the good boy Gunwalker is going to go ahead and get his snack. Now, nobody has decided to grab blue Tiberium in the center yet. Both natural expansions have just started to develop. I'm assuming this is going to be a refinery for DESolator Trooper, but I could be wrong. No, actually, I guess I am wrong. I thought he was already building that one. Tower hasn't really found any purchase, but I guess he's also going to give some Fog of War revealment for DESolator Trooper, so that's going to be good for him in the long run. He's going to be able to see if anything comes his way on that defensive tower. And DESolator Trooper seems to be the only one that has grabbed both defensive towers, one in the bottom and one in the top right. And if I'm correct, it looks like DESolator Trooper grabbed the Tiberium spike of Fate Zero over there. That does seem to be blue numbers. I know that looks purple, but in this game, apparently that is blue. Yeah, don't judge me. I didn't make it. Gunwalker for Fate Zero is going to move into the base of DESolator Trooper. He's not going to be able to do too much with that Gunwalker, but the most important part is that he's going to be able to get some scouting done and see what is happening. It does look like Fate's going to throw down a lightning spike inside the base of his opponent and maybe try to get one of these harvesters, but I'm not sure it's going to be able to do enough damage. Seeker Tank is going to start dealing some damage to it, and it's going to slowly whittle it down. DESolator Trooper does grab another defensive tower in the center of the map to protect that blue Tiberium, and if Fate Zero is not careful, he's going to lose a harvester full of Tiberium over here. That tower just being an absolute pest, and there doesn't seem to be any answer to it for the time being. Gunwalker going to get taken down from for free. DESolator Trooper finding an amazing purchase in these defensive towers, which normally I don't get to see. I don't get to see a lot of defensive towers be used well. DESolator Trooper is also the first to grab the blue Tiberium in the center. He's been able to defend it rather well. Oh, and it actually looks like you can damage the Tiberium crystals of your opponent. I didn't realize that you can deny them resources. That's not a bad move at all. I don't know if he's just attack moving or what, because I can't imagine like you would be able to naturally click on that. It doesn't seem to be one of his main objectives, but that is something interesting to know that I did not know before. Harvester is going to get caught out for Fate Zero. Fate Zero's Harvester is going to walk into a really unfortunate position into the forces of DESolator Trooper, giving DESolator Trooper already a decent snack. He's moving a couple of Seeker Tanks and a couple of Disintegrators into Fate Zero's base. There are a good number of Gunwalkers here to take out these Disintegrators. That is good, but I'm not sure if they have an answer yet to the Seekers. The Seekers are going to be a problem that need to be dealt with. Fate Zero actually grabbing a couple of Ravengers and favoring a good number of these Gunwalkers and then a small number of Disintegrators in his makeup. DESolator Trooper moving into his opponent's base, trying to take out some of these Harvesters before they can get out, and they do actually manage to get one and a small rank up, and then maybe try to get one on their way out. No, that does not appear to be the case unless this defensive tower is going to get it, but the forces for DESolator Trooper are unfortunately getting desolated. Seeker Tanks are still hanging on fairly well. Gunwalkers can only do so much damage to them, and the Seeker Tanks fare fairly well, I'm saying fair enough, into the Gunwalkers. The Disintegrators have come to reinforce the Seeker Tanks of their opponents, but the Gunwalkers have started their assault on the defensive tower and on the units of his opponent. Fate Zero doing a pretty decent job on the defense. Sure, he lost a little bit here and there, but these Gunwalkers seem to be playing right into his hand, and he's doing rather well. DESolator Trooper not wanting to back out whatsoever is going to keep taking pot shots at more and more Gunwalkers of Fate Zero. Only 2 remain from the original assault. A couple of Gunwalkers are coming to reinforce what is left of the extremely anemic forces of DESolator Trooper over here. Maybe they're trying to bait the forces of Fate Zero into the center. Maybe they're trying to bait them into this tower. Buzzard does get sniped, so he does know that the defensive tower is there, and that these defensive towers are actually doing a lot. They're kind of being the MVPs for them this time around, just doing massive amounts of damage just kind of across the map. Just like DESolator Trooper is going to be able to wrap that up and get a whole bunch of kills on the forces of Fate Zero. Fate Zero was looking rather good beforehand with all of the Gunwalkers, but now he's starting to fall apart. These defensive towers are just worth their weight in gold for the moment. And oh no, it looks like another Harvester might actually get caught out by Fate Zero, but no, he manages to make it. I thought he was going to get caught by all of these forces. Either way, the forces for Fate Zero are looking very, very anemic from what they once were. He's going to need to transition into something else. Here is a Prodigy. I think it's the first one I've seen so far on the map, but I'm not sure how much that's going to help, because if you take one Gunwalker, then you just have taken one Gunwalker. There is a one-click, however, the stasis field pops out, but it only catches a couple of Disintegrators and a couple of Gunwalkers, but that might be enough in order to start this fight. Mecha Pete only has 3 segments on it right now. It is slowly building back up, but it's gonna need more in order to fight off all of these Gunwalkers. Fate Zero doing a pretty decent job of pinning down the forces. He is definitely outnumbered here for sure and in a bad spot, but that was a good one-click to delay this assault. Prodigy unfortunately gets sniped down for Fate Zero. He didn't find any purchase in that guy whatsoever from what I can tell, and the reverse move has begun for DESolator Trooper while he begins an assault over on the right-hand side versus a Mecha Pete of Fate Zero. That is a lot of Disintegrators against the Mecha Pete, but no, they actually are going to chase the Mecha Pete down, which is probably not the greatest strategy. I think those Mecha Petes should come out on top against those Disintegrators. If I was DESolator Trooper, though, I'd probably go in for the Harvesters, and maybe he did get some while I was trying to look at the other side of the map. More and more reinforcements keep joining DESolator Trooper. His forces are starting to be slowly whittled down by these photon cannons and a couple of other things, but the damage is being dealt to the infrastructure of Fate Zero's base, and Fate Zero has very few Harvesters actually actively harvesting and is not able to expand to his natural expansion. He does have 3, but now 2 Mecha Petes, but I'm not sure that's going to be able to work against all of these forces. They do decently well against Disintegrators if you can manage to circle their butt around and get a couple of shots off, and I guess they do well against Gunwalkers, but if there's enough Gunwalkers and Disintegrators, which that seems to be what DESolator Trooper is going for, mass Gunwalkers, mass Troopers, mass Gunwalkers, mass Disintegrators, wrong military. That could make a massive difference considering there's only 2 Mecha Petes for Fate Zero over here. He does have his T3, but I gotta imagine DESolator Trooper also has his T3 here somewhere. No, maybe not. Maybe he didn't grab a tier 3 and he's just strictly going for disintegrators and gunwalkers. That's definitely an interesting build, sort of a T1 build, but it looks like it might be working. The forces for Fate Zero are pretty anemic, and I'm not sure what Fate Zero can really do here. He's got to be hurting on the resource front while his opponent just continues to harvest and move in and take shot after shot. One Mecha does almost get taken down. There's only a single segment left on it. It is slowly rebuilding, but that is very, very slowly, and those are really the only defensive forces for Fate Zero. I think this match is all but over. The Fat Lady has not sung just quite yet, but I don't see how Fate Zero can make it out of there. He does have defender's advantage, but that only accounts for so much, especially with him being so outnumbered. Maybe if he had tripods here instead of the Mechapedes, that would have fared much better against these gunwalkers, but I'm not sure the Mechapedes are really going to be able to do anything significant, and it looks like the tech advantage is going to be lost as well. So this is all but wrapped up. There it is. There is the GG. Fate Zero throws in the towel, giving this match 2, mirror match 2, to DESolator Trooper. I will see you in match number 3, Commander. Welcome to round number 3, the last match in this mirror match series. Starting us off on the bottom side of the map, wearing the green robe, sporting the marked of Kane gloves, we have Eclipse. His sparring partner for the evening in the top side of the map, wearing the blue robes in the marked of Kane gloves, we have Booka. Both fighters ready? Begin! Quick item of note, this is an oldie but goodie. This is all the way from R20 Echo. It is a much older patch, and it is also from a tournament or a league. I'm not sure which. I know the prize pool was 200 and it was mirrors only, and this is just a small snippet. Pipeline problems, for those of you who do not know, the most optimal build that I've seen work so far is the crane opener. So you start here, you pop the crane down, and then you slowly move refineries over here to grab the blue Tiberium to get it sooner rather than later, and it does appear that both players have begun to do that. We do get a War Factory by Eclipse over here. I don't think we have a War Factory from Booka yet. No, that does not appear to be the case. Right now, Booka is just almost pure eco. He is starting his scouting out over on the left-hand side of the map, while his opponent, Eclipse, is moving into the center with a bike. There is our War Factory, and there is our first set of production, probably a Harvester, but we'll get to see. Nope, it is another bike to match the bike of his opponent, Eclipse. One thing that we see a lot of players try to do is they try to go for that blue Tiberium as soon as possible, so I would not be surprised if we get to see that here soon. We got a couple of bikes for Eclipse building up. I would not be surprised if his goal is to go for those blue Tiberium harvesters. He's got 3 bikes going for there. Unfortunately, it takes 2 volleys from 5 bikes in order to kill a harvester in one shot. Not that these bikes can't take it out, especially if there's nothing to defend against them. And here they go. They are beginning the assault on Booka's base, but their fire is really split up. Eclipse not doing a super great job with the damage. His shots have just gone sort of all over the place. Some bikes for Booka are over here for the defense, and I think we did actually finally get a harvester right there. It was a little hard to see. Second harvester does go down, so it looks like Eclipse was able to find the purchase that he needs. However, he did lose his entire force, including these buggies that got EMP'd. No, actually one buggy. Nope, that buggy's dead. Booka doing a good job of recovering there. He did lose 2 harvesters, which is going to bite, but right now he has the advantage. The important part will be how he decides to use that advantage with all of these bikes. If he starts poking on his opponent's harvesters, there won't be a crazy amount the other can do. And there, right there is the decoy army. A couple of them already get shot down, but a couple are still left as decoys. They will only take 1 shot from really anything whatsoever, and even though all these bikes are here, they cannot find a way to wiggle in. They cannot find a spot they want to grab it. We're gonna have some bike versus bike and buggy over here in the center of the map. I'm not real surprised to see this from a mirrors only, especially for 2 different different Nod factions, 2 different Marked of Kane factions. Several buggies for his opponent go down. There is the 1 click for his opponent. Eclipse gets a really good decoy army out, and he's definitely coming out on top of this fight. There we go. There goes bike after bike, just absolutely taken out. Booka had the advantage in numbers for a little bit. He was down on 2 harvesters, but he did lose most of his forces there. Unfortunately, the favor has definitely switched back in Eclipse's favor. And oh no, it looks like Booka's MCV is going to get caught out in a really bad location right here. I'm not sure why it's, why it's going to keep running, and I'm also not sure why Eclipse didn't go for it. That's already half HP. Maybe he just expected his opponent to slap it down, but even then, you can still get a good amount of damage on that MCV. But it does look like the bikes were here for the defense for Booka. Booka now back on top when it comes to just units on the field, at least for the time being. He's able to harvest all of his blue Tiberium, so he's caught up there. Both players are going to start posturing to move to their secondary natural expansions. Bikes for Booka are starting to shark around and look for a target. There are Tib troopers and a couple other things to push him out. Eclipse doing a very good job of stopping Booka from just being able to walk into his base and do whatever he wants. He's always got some sort of unit to push his opponent out. There is our first Redeemer engineering facility by Booka in the north. That seems to be his call for all of this, and that Redeemer is actually building relatively quickly. And I think we just got Tiberium core missiles. Yeah, that looks to be what's on the back of the bikes of Booka. Do we have that for... no, we looks okay. So yeah, it looks like the Tiberium core missiles are only on Booka's bikes for the moment. So he's gonna have some avatars, he's gonna have some Tiberium core bikes, and he's going to have some Redeemers. So definitely teching up before his opponent. We will get to see how that plays out. Avatar pushing forward with the bikes, pushing the center of the map, moving his opponent just a little bit further back, and it looks like bikes are actually going to go for it. They're going to get, I think that was a buggy for free. Yeah, it looks like they did get a buggy for free, and the Tib Core Trooper for Booka does manage to wipe out the small amount of infantry that Eclipse moved forward. Bike and Buggy is going to pick on these Tiberium troopers and kill them from afar, kill them from a range, and if Booka's not careful, this Avatar is going to get caught in a really bad position, but maybe he is just waiting for something. The Avatar does get a really good shot off on one of the bikes, killing it almost instantly, and the fight against the Tib troopers has begun. Bike and Buggy are going to move out. There is the 1 click, the army to suck up some of the damage. Here is the Redeemer with 2 engineers for the defense. Booka actually looking in a rather decent spot now. He was a shaky there in the beginning, and he lost fights here and there, but he is seeming to come back on top of things for the time being. Eclipse finally getting his first Avatar out, but it might be too little too late. We do get an EMP on the Redeemer, but I don't think that's going to be able to do too much. There is the rage gen. A lot of these bikes and buggies are going to take each other out, and that's extremely unfortunate for Eclipse losing a good chunk of units there, and I think the Redeemer actually tried to step on the Avatar. I'm not sure if you can do that right now. He's taking some shots to the back armor, and there's an obelisk here to optimize those shots on that Redeemer, but the Redeemer does have 2 engineers in it, which means it's going to be able to soak up a lot of damage. However, the same cannot be said for the Avatar on the left. There's still a good number of bike buggy on the right, but it is bike versus a bunch of bike and buggy. The Redeemer actually gets EMP. Once again, more and more backshots happening. Eclipse did a very good job of turning this around. He was definitely in a rather unfortunate spot, but he ventured around just a little bit. Unfortunately, beam cannons are going to start taking out the remainder of his forces. Going to start taking out these Avatars. His forces are going to look more and more anemic as this goes on. However, he still does have a good number of bike and buggy. 2 Avatars are taken down, and this Redeemer is still up to deal damage another day. However, the EMPs are non-stop, absolutely, for Eclipse. Eclipse is doing a fantastic job, EMPing after EMP. Another Avatar for his opponent, another Avatar for Eclipse is probably going to get taken out here any second. It is 1 Ladybug trip away from death. More bike, buggy, and harvesters are going to get taken down over on the right-hand side. That's extremely unfortunate for Eclipse. Eclipse has not been able to grab any of the assaults like he wanted to. And there it is. There is the GG. The towel was thrown in, giving Booka the round. That is the end of our mirror match set in this mixed bag series. Thank you for tuning in, Commander. I've been your host, Korak. Transmission out.